Hello, loves. Welcome to the Live Your Freedom Now podcast. I'm Megan Colleen Johnson, and this podcast is dedicated to discussing dominant cultural narratives and beliefs, what I call dominant dogma, how this keeps you from thriving in life and business, and how to overcome that dogma by living your freedom now. While this path sounds clean and straightforward, the truth is, life and being human is messy. So around here, we value the both and. We'll hold space for where you're at and honor the freedom you'd like to see and feel within yourself. Hit subscribe to stay updated, and for more information about me, my work, and to download my free Claim Your Freedom Now journal guide and ecotherapy meditation, head to megscolleen.com. That's megscolleen.com. Hello, free thinker. Welcome to this episode of the Live Your Freedom Now podcast. As a heads up, you are tuning in during a time, the months of November and December 2022, when I have decided to take a break from writing for the podcast. That said, this episode is a replay of a past episode, so you may hear invitations into programs and freebies that are no longer available on my site. So, in this brief introduction, I wanted to let you know what is available right now. I have two things available on my site for you. The first is a free ecotherapy meditation, and the second is I am accepting one-on-one coaching clients right now. You can access and learn more about these two things at my website, megscolleen.com, and I hope you enjoy this episode replay. As always, freedom is yours. What does it mean to live your freedom now? Hello, creative humans. I'm so excited to be back here with you for another episode of Live Your Freedom Now. Today, I am writing from my living room. It's early in the morning and I have the fireplace on, a warm cup of decaf coffee sitting beside me, and I'm curled up on our elongated couch watching the gray, cloudy sky slowly come to life. As we begin today's episode, I invite you to also notice your surroundings. Notice the textures, the colors, the light, and the weight of where you are and what is around you. Notice the freedom you have of embarking on this practice, a practice that no one can take away from you. Okay, today I am talking about what it actually means to live your freedom now. In our first two episodes, we discussed how due to capitalism, colonialism, tribalism, and other hierarchical power over systems, you have been sold a singular vision of thriving and success. A vision that requires you to uphold specific dominant dogma in order to stay safe and belong. As a quick reminder, dominant dogma is a term I coined to encompass all of the cultural narratives and beliefs which externally and subsequently internally as adaptive strategies tell you who you're supposed to be, how to do it, and what you need to buy to live that out. In contrast, Live Your Freedom Now is a path to hand back that dominant dogma which is no longer serving you. In essence, it's sort of a stick it to the man concept, where instead of buying into the narratives which say you need something outside of you to be enough, to be free, to belong, and to achieve, you stop things in their tracks and state the opposite. I am free, whole, worthy, and I belong right here and now. To explain this deeper, I want to share an excerpt from my upcoming book, Live Your Freedom Now. Quote, "In the past, I believed that something and everything outside of me was what I needed to be enough. On a daily basis, I had narratives inside my head and within my world telling me, you need more confidence, but in order to be more confident, you need to look confident with that fancy and expensive new capsule wardrobe. You need to know more, but in order to know more, you need that extra certification, degree, or online course. You need to be saved, but in order to be saved, you need a savior. You need to belong, but in order to belong, you need to follow the dominant dogma of your subculture. I bought into this lack mentality, consistently believing I was not enough, I was broken, and I needed to be rescued. I believed in a solution outside of me, a product outside of me, a guru outside of me, a dominant dogma outside of me. Now, I have come home to me, to my intuition, and my ability to choose, and I know I am already enough. Moreover, you are enough too. End quote. In my life, I have learned the simple truth that living my liberation in the present is my rebellion. Living my freedom and my wholeness now is my act of sticking it to the man, the systems, the dominant dogmas. Live your freedom now is reclaiming your wholeness, reclaiming your enoughness, reclaiming your right to be human. My coaching philosophy is built on deep trust and the belief that each of us is at our core whole, that you are whole. I believe there is much injustice and harm in the world due to dominant dogma, unhealthy patterns, and unhealed trauma. And my goal as a coach and a human is to play a part in collective healing by guiding folks like you back to themselves, back to this wholeness and freedom. I'm here to support you as a helping and healing and high-achieving human so you can reclaim your soul self. And together, we can drop the act and live from a place of sovereignty and wholehearted humanity. We are constantly co-creating with the world around us, and this freedom journey is taking ownership of the co-creation. It's no longer letting the world happen to us, it's living our freedom now. So, what does this look like practically? Dr. Andy Fisher, an eco-psychologist and scholar, teaches a model of modern disconnection, which I believe largely overlaps with my own 5 practices of freedom and how we can live our freedom now. Within his model, he shares a triangle where at the top is our psyche, the lower right-hand corner is nature, and the left-hand corner is society and history. Each of these points connects to form a whole, our wholeness. However, within his diagram, he shows small lines breaking our connection to each of these points. It is my belief that the harmful systems, the patterns, and dominant dogma, both internal and external, are those breaking points. They are what keeps us from functioning as a whole and integrated ecosystem, both within ourselves and as a collective. Dr. Fisher teaches that in order to reestablish the connection between our psyche, nature, society, and history, we must be willing to evaluate the breaking points, travel first through the stories of our society and history, then redevelop our relationship with nature and our own inner wildness. Similarly, my 5 practices of freedom guide us to first question the narratives we've been told and that we carry with us from our society and our history. Then we redevelop our connection and belief in self. And finally, establish new integral beliefs and narratives which support self, others, and the planet. Specifically, these 5 practices of freedom are playful curiosity, non-judgment and awareness, self-trust, integrity and congruence, and resilience. Each of these practices points us back to wholeness, back to freedom. As these two frameworks share, this is a journey that takes time and dedication. However, you can always ground into the simple mantra, live your freedom now. In our past 2 episodes, I shared a quote from Dr. Edith Eger, and I'm going to share it one more time here. Quote, "The only place where we can exercise our freedom of choice is in the present." The message of Live Your Freedom Now is a shift in perspective to evaluate internalized dominant dogma you have been living from so you can realign with your inner wildness as you feel ready. This shift in perspective and this movement is a grounding point, a relatively accessible way to move forward. Take what serves you and leave the rest. That conscious choice of taking what serves you and leaving the rest is already living your freedom now. I'm going to wrap up here today, but I will be right back here next week. And if you want to take this learning deeper, I encourage you to visit my website, megscolleen.com, and to download my free Freedom Manifesto. Additionally, you can view the circular map of my 5 practices of freedom within the How to Live Free program sales page, also on my website. All right, I will see you next week. Freedom is yours. Thank you for joining me for another Live Your Freedom Now podcast episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I'm always so grateful for a 5-star rating, and you can learn more about me, my work, and download my free Claim Your Freedom Now journal guide and ecotherapy meditation at megscolleen.com. That's megscolleen.com. I'll see you next time, and as always, freedom is yours.